my name is Hannah Cruz at the Church Musician's Assistant, and today in this video I would like to offer up some quick tips on how you can take a piano accompaniment to a hymn that is traditionally played on the piano and make it work and make it awesome on the pipe organ. I'm going to be using the example For Everyone Born. This is a hymn that is in a lot of hymnals but is in a more contemporary style, and the accompaniment that usually comes with it is written pretty much for the piano. So I'm going to try to transfer that to the organ and then condense some tips on how you can take other hymns that are for the piano and make them awesome on the organ. The first thing to consider is that the piano is a naturally percussive instrument and the organ is naturally a sustaining instrument. So when you translate a piano accompaniment to the organ, already you're going to have the difficulty of trying to keep the momentum going in the accompaniment, trying to keep a rhythmic integrity on the organ keyboard. There are three main things that you can do to try to remedy this. One is to add space, as in silence, between the chords that you're playing on the manuals and even in the pedal as well. And that little bit of separation will make your accompaniment sound more percussive, more like the piano. In the same vein, if you're playing one chord for one measure or multiple measures, you'll need to do something to break that up. And so one thing you can do is just repeat the chord and separate those in a rhythmic fashion with space in between. This one is a little more advanced, but you can add filler chords like 4 and 5 chords between the chords that are written in order to break it up a little bit and help with the forward momentum. Also consider noodling between what I call extension notes. That's just 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. So those color tones you can add and subtract in your chordal accompaniment to, again, emphasize certain rhythms and certain beats. Main thing to consider, number 2, is the bass line. So in a lot of piano accompaniments to more contemporary hymns, the bass line is very, very important, and it helps drive the hymn, it helps drive the tempo, and drive the harmonic progression, etc. So on the organ, what you can do is actually bump up the registration of your pedal part a lot more than you normally would on, let's say, a 4-part hymn. Because with a 4-part hymn that was intended to be sung by SATB or played on the organ, all 4 of those parts are relatively equal in their importance. They all contribute to the whole. But the bass line of a lot of piano hymns and contemporary songs in particular, like I said, is used to drive everything forward, and so it really needs to pop out. Try adding more 16s, 8 foots, even 4 foots, so that that pedal part can be heard over everything else in your sanctuary. Consider reeds, 32 foots, all of that stuff will probably be appropriate at some point with the piano accompaniments on the organ. In the bass line, you can also start filling in the spaces between long held notes. So let's say you're holding the root of the 1 chord, and in a couple measures you're going to transition to the root of the 5 chord. Then you can use that scale, going up the scale degrees, to literally pull the congregation into the next phrase or the next harmony. But when you add that more melodic pulling quality to the bass line, that's going to help the congregation feel where they need to come in next. Don't forget to accent the strong beats with the pedal. That goes back to what I said earlier about separation and silence. If you're repeating, if you're holding the same note in the pedal for a while, just consider repeating that and accenting it on whatever beats are strong. And again, that will help with forward momentum. Main thing to consider, number 3, and the last big one, is melody prominence. So on the piano, a lot of times that melody is going to pop out from the rather percussive accompaniment backing it up. But on the organ, because it is a more sustaining instrument, you might need to do something special to bring out the melody and make sure the congregation can hear that super clearly, especially if the song is less familiar to them. Then definitely make sure melody is prominent all the time. What can you do for that? Well, easiest thing would probably be to solo out the melody on a stronger registration on one of your manuals. That is assuming that you have at least 2 manuals on your organ. So for someone with 1 manual, that might not be possible, but using registrations and soloing out is definitely something to try. You can also start on a softer level registration-wise, so that the congregation is going to have to listen a little bit more methodically to pick out the melody. And once they start singing more confidently out in the congregation, you may be able to tell that the volume is increasing, the confidence is increasing, and you can start increasing the registrations as well to encourage even more robust singing. Once the congregation out there is familiar with the tune, start adding counter melodies and higher harmonies and lower harmonies. Those sorts of things add lots of excitement, and you'll see jazz artists, gospel artists doing that sort of thing on piano or the organ all the time. I give you the takeaways from this video today, I ask you to please like this video if it has been helpful to you, and please subscribe to the Church Musician's Assistant on YouTube. If you subscribe and you click the little bell symbol, then you will be notified when we come out with new videos. And we try to put out a new video at least once a week, and those are always free and have lots of amazing educational content for church musicians. So please like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Now for the takeaways. Takeaway number 1, maintain forward motion, momentum, and excitement. Do whatever you have to do in the accompaniment to get that, to draw that out of the accompaniment. Because sometimes on the organ, when you just play what is written, which was meant for the piano, it can feel a little bit dead and a little lagging. So, excitement and momentum. Takeaway number 2, showcase the melody, especially if the song is a little bit new, a little bit unfamiliar. Always give the tune prominence. Takeaway number 3, and this is more my personal philosophy than anything else. You might disagree, that's okay. But I feel like if you're going to take something that was meant for the piano or guitar or worship band or any other ensemble, and you want to play it on the pipe organ, well, those are totally different worlds of sound. And the song may not have been written for the pipe organ to begin with. So my philosophy is that treat the song on the pipe organ as a unique, special experience and make it different. You know, make it not exactly like how you would do it on the piano. Make it work for the instrument, and let it be inspiring in a slightly new, creative way for the congregation. So if you play it on piano, it's one way, and if you play it on organ, it's almost like an entirely different piece, a whole new experience. And just embrace that newness and creativity and have fun with it. Thanks for watching today. I'm Hannah Cruz at the Church Musician's Assistant. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something. Please comment below if you have anything to add to this conversation, any helpful tips. That'd be awesome for anyone who stumbles across this video. Until next time, blessings.